Hello, this is Bopo, your Archer author, and today we are here to write another poem. Now, as a disclaimer, this poem took over 8 hours to research, and then 3 hours to write, and then 4 failed 1 hour and a half videos to record. So, if you would like to see the full video in the future, I can provide that for y'all, but for now, today will be a lot shorter just for the sake of, I don't know what's going on with my computer, because I'm not the most tech savvy. I am a poet, not IT, and very cheap. The prompt that Grok has given me was write a poem from the perspective of the very last key on a well-worn typewriter that hasn't been struck in 37 years. Now, I took a little bit of creative liberty here. This gosh-awful rhyme scheme that I've never seen before and have never done before. And even worse, a stanza count of 7. If you'd like to see how that works, it's this 7 times. And this was the poem that I wrote. And so today I'm actually going to read the poem through the perspective of 5 typewriters insulting each other, and then a polygraph insulting a typewriter, and then a laptop insulting that polygraph, and then the prior typewriters insulting that laptop, including with the polygraph giving its final mic drop against that laptop. Prisoners in a Dusty Storage Unit by Bopo. Click, click, the phantom effect haunting my eroded pigments. Why was my electric innovation to be betrayed and rejected? Complained the light gray typewriter named Smith Corona. Because your keys are plastic trash, Smith, Underwood champion projected. Your worth was a tiny screen and a key called Advance. The cancer of sedentary activity spiked in 1989, and laziness with your rather convenient brand of feather fingers. And now I must be tortured to hear your incessant whine, when unlike me, at least you could light a screen with a faint glow. I remember when you were stored here 37 years ago. Sure you want to make fun of feather fingers, Sir Finger Flight? Debated Oliver number 7 with his U-bars towering over Underwood. You have the far worse critique of worsening adult restlessness. Carried in a briefcase all day with keys rattling, you didn't have it good. Too many times you fell out of your case, became a broke tool, unable to write. The cancer of corporate efficiency spiked in 1952. And a culture of perfectionism from the marvel of the secretarial pool. With a pressure to type faster than speech, carpal tunnel fingers flew. Unlike me, you came here because you were light enough to throw. I remember when you were stored here another 37 years ago. Now, do you think it'd be fair to spite Finger Flight, Sir Batwings? Dared Remington number 2, puffing his wide basket over Oliver. You were the creation of a wannabe minister seeking greed. The bastard of what lack of engineering failed to deliver. Planking vertical bars with constantly off-centered mainsprings. The cancer of typist cramps spiked in 1915, and blackberry fingers from the clinking metal shavings. Sure, the lines you typed were capable of being seen. However, snapping suffrage women's nails was your sexist show. I remember when you were stored here another 37 years ago. Well, at least the bat desired to cure blindness, Sir Blind Writer. Chuckled Raffygraph Decapoint with a squeak of his pistons. His creator had the faith to provide clarity that carried beyond death. But yours needed the faith to write correctly behind metallic obstructions. Because your creators were blinded by a scamming backbiter. The cancer of the QWERTY layout spiked in 1878. And a culture of ableism, worsening consumer hearing through loud sounds. Though you standardize typing and ruin souls with heavy weight, unlike my blind creators seeking sight for all, yours made blindness grow. I remember when you were stored here another 37 years ago. Let's not forget your lack of efficiency, Sir Foucault's bridge, remarked Polygraph with the tap dance of his two pens. His creator was aimed at revolutionizing the world, not a niche. As used by a revolutionary myself, I have looked through a universal lens. The world needed streamlined words, not an awkward smidge. The cancer of socialist politics spiked in 1841, and radicals who chanted the idiocy of property is theft. This is why a founding father used me for socialism to shun. Thomas Jefferson used me to warn war and fight your political woe. I remember when you were stored here another 37 years ago. Well, you're a supremacist, a white supremacist, Sir Double Pens. Sneered Apple MacBook Neo with his blinding rainbow screen. Your master made you a slave to him, as he fornicated with his slaves. I am a global product and made with trillion-dollar company friends, and dismantling the patriarchy as your digital drag queen. The cancer of oppression spiked in 1804, and a far-right country of racism and sexism. You were used to justify killing 2,000 loyalists for gore. You will never be in a museum unlike me, I know. No one will remember when you were stored here another 37 years ago. You wouldn't exist if it weren't for Thomas Jefferson! Defended the disgusted typewriters against the blue-cased laptop. You criticize slavery, and yet you enslave human minds. Your screen is a fragile snowflake with one drop. You're named after some fruit, but morally rotten. The cancer of AI slop spiked in 2026. You're named after a slave of the Matrix. How ironic. Your fame will only last a few yearly clicks. People will see that you're just another product, uniform and foe, because no one will remember you with only 37 seconds to go. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, if you'd like to see the full video as to how I created this poem, I was able to get the editing down to around an hour and 11 minutes for a thorough breakdown of how I wrote this awful poem. But it took a while. It took a while. However, if you would like to torture me with a much more complicated prompt than Grok gave, then you can leave a prompt here. And don't forget, y'all, please subscribe. And if you do subscribe and leave a like, then I will prioritize your poem over poetry prompt over other poetry prompts. Anyways, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you at the archery range and the library. Have a wonderful day, y'all. Ciao.